Hi, I'm David.
Hi, I'm Jelena.
Welcome to our tutorial on hyperextended elbows in yoga practice and I guess how to fix them. Yeah. So before we get into it, I just want to say we're glad you're here, and check out our other videos too. And if you like this one or any of the other ones, please give us a like, maybe subscribe to us, and tell your friends.
Or maybe comment too. Let us know what else you want to see in these tutorials.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's get to it. So everybody knows what a hyperextended elbow is. I think it's not necessarily like extremely anatomical, right? You don't have to have any deep knowledge. Yeah. And so Jelena can do it. Can you see it in the camera? That the elbow, the joint is kind of going the other way. So I actually have a really hard time extending my elbows. Not everybody does it, but it is a fairly, I would say, common shape in the arm for a lot of people. And, I'm not sure how dangerous it is. It doesn't look good, personally. So I know for videos and pictures and stuff, we don't want to see it. But I've seen arm balancers or people doing lots of crazy physical feats on hyperextended elbows. So I can't say for sure that it's a terrible thing, right?
I see that even when I do the correct alignment, because I do have naturally hyper flexible elbows, or I go into hyperextension, even with the correct alignment, it still looks like I'm hyperextending, but it does feel quite different in the body, whereas instead of feeling like everything's being dumped here or here or here, like one of those individually, I feel the work gets more evenly shared and goes into my upper back and my chest when I don't give into fully hyperextension.
Yeah. So what I find too, that there's kind of a corresponding effect in usually the shoulders. That's where we hear people complaining, about pain. And often that is, related to that hyperextended shape, an external rotation. And we have talked about sort of shoulder position, what to do with your arms in another tutorial. So you could check that out as well. And it's going to be a similar solution in this case, but we're going to look at it from the perspective of the elbow, through the eyes of the elbow. Get it? This is called the eye of the elbow. So the position that we're going to look at for this tutorial is when the arm is below the shoulder relative to the body. So it doesn't necessarily have to be an extended position, but it's not overhead. Okay, and we get into this kind of shape in upward facing dog. That's a very common one, or plank, or all these different times when the arms are beside us here. And you can see that Jelena, the front of her elbow is facing forward, and then from the side, you can see that the elbow's kind of bending the wrong way back. And we can see that Jelena's upper arms are kind of going into an external rotation. I understand why people would do this, especially in something like Upward Dog. It might feel like it creates more opening across the chest, right? But the problem is that it doesn't feel like a very active position through the hands when you're in hyperextension. Right?
Yeah, and I feel it just even for those 10 seconds or whatever, I start to feel a lot of pressure.
Yeah, like you're dumping the weight to the outside of the wrist.
On the outside of the wrist.
So what we want to do is, it's going to feel really weird too if you're a hyperextender, but we want to inwardly rotate. But first you want to make sure that your hands are in the right position. So usually that means index fingers point straight forward, and the inner edge of your hand is in line with the center of your deltoid, of your shoulder. So we're going to go from that external rotation, from the arm being spun out, to internal rotation here. And as soon as Jelena goes into internal rotation, two things are going to happen. One, she's going to start to feel more weight down through the inside of the hand, and that's going to balance the weight across the wrist. And then she can push into there, and you can see that the shoulder rolls in. Okay, so watch her go from external rotation to that internal rotation here. And you can see that she can't really hyperextend the elbow in that internal rotation, can you? If you really try?
That's it.
Yeah. So then from here, if you look at her doing it in upward dog, can you bring your chest through? You can see this would only be half the equation. She's going to have to also draw the shoulders back. So there's internal rotation and then shoulders back. But you can see then Jelena's pushing through the hands and the elbows remain in a straight position, but not a hyperextended one. Okay, so there's actually a big movement from the upper arm that is resolving the hyperextension in the elbow. And I don't know, I mean, if you're not getting pain from doing it, then it's probably not an issue, but it is good to know. And I also think that you can get more activation through your arms and your shoulders, and because of that activation, you get more traction through your spine in upward facing dog when you do the inward rotation shoulder.
This really adds nicely to the fact that when we do an upward facing dog, we're not pushing ourselves back. We're deepening the back bend in an upward facing dog because we pull our chest forward. And so that action of spinning the arms in and bringing the shoulders back is actually the chest coming through. And then you start to feel, again, we've talked about this in other videos, you feel the stretch coming across the front of the chest as well. And it gets rid of any of that pinching or needle-like pain that sometimes you might experience when you externally rotate and you kind of let this open up in a not supported way.
Should we look at another position?
Sure.
So another place that we see a lot of hyperextension and where it feels kind of natural is in Purvottanasana, the east side stretch pose. It's a natural sort of shape to go into that hyperextension because it's kind of similar to upward facing dog where you're trying to open up your chest. And so, without training, the most obvious way to do that is to spin the arms out, and flare the ribs forward like this. So we're going to have a similar solution to it. We're going to try to inwardly rotate and then pull the shoulders back.
It's exactly the same solution.
It's the exact same, yeah. Okay, but it looks different, at least the shape of the body. Now the shoulders are in extension, right? So the arms are below and behind the shoulders. So you really have to work at it. So can you do the hyperextended version first? So that's hyperextended. You can see the eyes of the elbows are facing the front of the mat. And then actually there's a lot of tension around the upper trapezius. And then this would be, so here again, watch, she's going to inwardly rotate the arms, and that's going to protract the scapula. They're going to come away from each other. And then she's going to pull, so she's pressing into the hands and pulling this way back. So the shoulders are rolling this way now, and you can see the eyes of her elbows are now turning in towards the center of the mat, and that's again fixed the hyperextension. Not easier, but what you'll feel is that there's a different distribution of strength and stretch, right, through the posture that just feels like it's more balanced. Yeah. And I think that's what we're looking for. This kind of opens up this whole other thing about why don't we do the easiest way? Why not the easiest? But often the easiest is like the least amount of energy. That's what makes it easy, right? And when we're doing something repetitively again and again, the easiest way with the less amount of energy can often become a problem over time, right? So that we have to start kind of doing what might initially feel unnatural, but over time that's going to support our body better.
And this really pays off as you kind of move on in your practice and the poses get a little bit more challenging or there's more and more weight being put into your arms. You really want to make sure that you have that foundation. And so that foundation is kind of, you train yourself to find that in things that come more easy to you. And so again, just watch what's happening in your wrist. Make sure that your index knuckles on the floor and that the weight, whether it's all of your body or partially, like something upward facing dog, is evenly distributed on your palms. And then that will have an effect, of course, on what's happening with the rest of the body.
Okay, so not a super flashy tutorial, but I do think fundamental and important for the longevity of your practice. And I hope you find it useful. Let us know. Hit the like button and tell your friends, and of course, subscribe. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.